There is a game of chess going on top of the world right now.
Which game of chess is this?
On June 23rd, 2023, there was a kind of rebellion, kind of mutiny, kind of attempted coup which took place in Russia, which allegedly almost overthrew Vladimir Putin from power.
How did this happen?
There is something called the Wagner Group, a private military company funded by the Russian government. They staged a rebellion. This was in the middle of the rising tensions between the Russia's Ministry of Defense and its leader Yevgeny Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner Group.
How did the Wagner Group start in Russia?
It was in the early 2000s when Yevgeny Prigozhin came out of prison after spending a decade there. He immediately ventured into business and entrepreneurship, focusing into a string of high-end restaurants. That is when he entered into a financial association with Putin, who was by then into municipal politics. Eventually, they became close friends, close allies, confidants with a personal bond.
Is that how the Wagner Group started?
No! In 2014, Prigozhin started the Wagner Group. It was a private military company operating on behalf of the Russian government. It was to act as the substitute to the Russian army. Remember, in Russia, to operate a private military company was illegal. But Wagner Group was given an okay. It was endorsed to operate. And therefore, the Wagner Group became a tool of Russia's foreign and military policy. And as a result, the Wagner Group became a formidable force of combat mercenaries in various regions across the world.
So what exactly did the Wagner Group do on behalf of the Russian army?
The Wagner Group participated in the Donbas conflict. The Wagner Group participated during the Russia's military intervention into the Syrian conflict by providing security and support to Bashar al-Assad. The Wagner Group participated in the Middle East at large. The Wagner Group was also involved in the Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Wagner Group also participated in conflicts in Mali, Libya, Central African Republic, Sudan, among others, by providing support to the local forces against rebellions in those countries. The Wagner Group also has close ties with several African governments.
How were they recruited? How many were they? And how were they paid?
At first, the Wagner Group recruited 5,000 fighters. They were from the Russia's regiment and special forces. However, by 2022, the number shot up to 25,000 to 50,000 fighters. This is because they had started recruiting hardcore criminals from prisons in exchange for their freedom. Putin's government was paying the Wagner Group 86.26 billion rubles, that is $1 billion per year, to pay wages. In African countries, the Wagner Group was benefiting from diamonds and gold in exchange of support and security, and so on.
So, how did the Wagner Group start clashing with the Russian military commanders?
After the Battle of Bakhmut, which was a huge victory supported by the Wagner Group, Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner Group, started gaining huge influence and attention outside Russia. This increased tension between Russia's Ministry of Defense and the Wagner Group. And therefore, the Wagner Group started accusing Russia's Ministry of Defense of low weapon supply, and also there was loss of life from the Wagner Group fighters from 50,000 to 25,000. And therefore, the Wagner Group felt isolated, and also Prigozhin, its leader, felt that he was now not being recognized as the leader of the Wagner Group. He was losing title. At that time, the world was seeing the Wagner Group as Prigozhin's private army.
So, what transpired after?
After, Prigozhin accused the Russia Minister of Defense Sergei Shoigu and head of armed forces Ukrainian mission Valery Gerasimov of incompetence. Also, Prigozhin refused to sign a contract which could make Wagner Group to be loyal to the Russian army, because this could make Prigozhin lose title. A day after, they started a rebellion known as the March to Moscow. And in their march, they had captured a city of Rostov-on-Don. This was the move to remove the oppressive military leadership, among other demands, by the Wagner Group.
So, did the Wagner Group succeed?
The Wagner Group was still making a march towards Moscow, and they had remained with only 200 kilometers to reach Moscow. That is when its leader Prigozhin made a surprising U-turn. He called off the rebellion. It was said that this was being negotiated by the Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko, whereby it was agreed that one, Prigozhin be taken for exile in Belarus together with his followers and still remain loyal to him. Some of the fighters be absorbed by the Russian army, and also all criminal charges against those involved in the rebellion be dropped.
So what is your conclusion?
This is my conclusion. This game of chess has different possibilities. One, On 21st June 2023, the US Pentagon announced that they were going to use $6 billion more than expected in order to fund Ukraine in their war against Russia. Later on, that money could not be accounted for. Then they claimed that it was an accounting error. This coincided with the Wagner Group's rebellion against the Russian regime, which was barely 2 days apart. Therefore, if possibly this money could have been paid to the Wagner Group against the Russian regime, then Putin could have doubled the amount, making Prigozhin to call off the rebellion and the other side losing. Secondly, Putin might have staged the whole thing because the Wagner Group troops had 25,000 fighters and there is no way they could penetrate Russia, which had 800,000 government troops. And also there is a situation whereby its leader, Prigozhin, has been exiled to Belarus, whereby the leader of Belarus is a close ally to Putin. And also the Wagner Group soldiers, some of the soldiers be absorbed in the Russian army and all the charges be dropped. Putin does not take any act of treason lightly. These people knew what they were doing. 3. This might have been just a tactical move to move the Wagner Group from Ukraine back to Belarus and Russia after finishing their job in Bakhmut. And this was to beat the American intelligence. 4. This might have just been a security drill carried out by Putin's regime in case such a thing happens. Remember, security drills always happen, even sometimes catching common people unaware. What happened in Russia is beyond common man's understanding, and Putin is a very intelligent man. You are free to use these words the way you want. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and please leave us alone.
This man